Hello again, friends. I had a package show up in the mail yesterday that I haven't had a chance to open yet, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about it because I think it's going to be a fun one. I'm extraordinarily late to the party on this one because my invite didn't show up until, CES or so. But this is Amazon Echo. And while I'm talking to you, I'm just going to go ahead and start opening this up and getting it out of the box. Amazon does provide, hopefully, that frustration-free packaging, so it shouldn't be terribly difficult to get it all open and out of the box. But anyway, Amazon Echo, if you are not familiar with it, is effectively a Bluetooth slash Wi-Fi speaker slash other stuff. It's kind of like Google Now in a speaker, but it also does Amazon Music and Amazon services. It's primarily Amazon and I think maybe Bing instead of Google. So this should be wow, this is a lot bigger than I expected it would be. There you go. You may be able to see that, you may not. There you go. It's very, very shiny at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and take the plastic wrap off the outside of it, just so you can see what it does look like out of the wrapper. You know, that's not too terribly difficult to unwrap. Just sort of slide it out of its packaging. There you go. It's sort of a matte black finish here on the top. You do have your volume ring, and you've got a couple of buttons, one for turning the microphone off and one for turning the device on. Here on the bottom, you do have a little indentation where the power cable will go in. You've got the main area here that should be the speaker, and there are 7 microphones around the top. So it should be able to capture your voice from wherever you are. You can just yell out their command word, which in this case I think defaults to Alexa. So you say, Alexa, play music, or Alexa, do this. Alexa, how tall is the Empire State Building? And it's supposed to give you answers. For me, this doesn't sound all that great because at any given point I can just sort of whip out my watch and say, okay, Google, how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon? I think I saw that in one of the Amazon promotional videos for the product. But it was curious. My wife sounded very, very interested in it, so I told her we'd give it a shot. All right, we've got a couple of pieces of paper in here that came with it, some suggestions for what to do with Echo, and then how you actually get it up and running. You plug in the device, you download the app. Here's how you get to know it and everything. Additionally, in the box, you can of course expect to have the power cable because this does not have a battery in it. All the other Bluetooth speakers I've used in the past have actually been battery powered with the option of plugging in through micro USB. This one has proprietary cable connection. A little bummed out about that because it would have been very nice to have micro USB connectivity, even if it didn't have a battery built into it. Still, micro USB would have been a good option for me, but we'll give this a shot and see how it works out. And then to sort of wrap up the package, you've got the remote itself. It looks kind of like a Fire TV remote. You've got what appears to be a remote holder that you can attach to a surface and just sort of stick the remote to it if you don't want to use the remote all the time. And then a couple of Amazon Basics batteries that you stick in the remote. As far as this little remote holder is concerned, I was kind of curious about it. It says use this reusable adhesive strip to attach your remote holder to non-magnetic surfaces. So it does feel sticky on here. If I wanted to peel it off, I could do that. I'll probably stick this on the refrigerator. I don't know what it'll end up being used for. It may end up going back in the box. I don't know. Then as far as the remote itself, as I mentioned, it is a lot like the Fire TV remote. I don't have the Fire TV, so I don't really have a way to compare it. But I do have the Fire TV stick. So here's the Fire TV stick's remote side by side. You've got a very similar little button layout there with, instead of having a bunch of buttons at the bottom, you've got all the controls right here in the middle. And then your voice control, which you'd have on the Fire TV remote, you don't have on the Fire TV stick remote. So let me go ahead and stick the batteries in and we'll just get started. Well, try as I might, I wasn't able to get the back off of this remote with my fingernails, and I do have very, very strong fingernails. So I went and got a flathead screwdriver, and now I have the back off of the remote. Weird that I'm having this much trouble doing it. So I'm gonna stick these 2 AAA batteries in here, and we'll get the device powered up here in just a moment. All right, we have batteries, and the remote does feel a lot more solid in the hand now. I mean, I know I said the exact same thing about the Fire TV stick before. This one is a lot heftier now. It feels, well, it still feels kind of cheap and flimsy, but anyway, let me go ahead and plug this thing in. And that would be why that does not work with micro USB. It says it's a 21 watt AC adapter, but it says it only has 1.5 volt output equals 1.4 amps. So technically, I don't know much about electronics, so please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments and don't think I'm too big of an idiot. It sounds like if it's 1.4 amp output that a traditional micro USB adapter might work with it, but again, I may not know what I'm talking about. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in on camera for you. I've got it plugged in under the desk there. We'll feed this in and we'll just see what happens, right? Got a little light ring. Light ring is spinning. I do remember, yeah, plug in the device and then download the companion app. I've got the app downloaded on my OnePlus One. So let's go ahead and see what happens when I open the app. It's making noises. And then...
Hello. Your Amazon device is ready for setup. Just follow the instructions in your companion app.
That was actually kind of an epic little experience there. All right, in the companion app, it does say begin Echo setup. It knows who I am, apparently. It says wait for orange ring light. It's already there. Attempting to connect to Echo. It says it may take up to 1 minute. I would hope it doesn't take that long. It didn't take that long. All right.
You've connected to your device. Go ahead and complete the setup in your companion app.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and give it my wireless information so it can get connected to my home network. There's no way that Amazon would have this ahead of time. I would hope not. It would actually be kind of convenient if they would store that, but at the same time, it would be a terrible, terrible security flaw. But yeah, we've got that in now. It says it may take a few minutes. It's still doing its little setup thing. This thing is freaking hefty. I gotta say it. Let's see if there's volume ring. When I turned the volume ring, it turned white. Hopefully that doesn't screw anything up. Put batteries in your Echo remote. Press the forward button on the remote. It will connect automatically. So there we go. Press the forward button, and Echo is now connected. Then there's a video coming up on my device that wants to show me how to get started with it. So that was interesting. I did do a couple of little tests with it. Things like, Alexa, how tall is the Empire State Building?
The Empire State Building's height is 1,250 feet, 381 meters.
And the cool thing about it is, since I'm using the companion app as well, it shows up in the companion app, the questions that I've asked and the answers, so you can always go back and verify what you've said and make sure that what you're saying is correct. It's talking about searching through Bing, so I'm guessing that that's the integration it's got with it. I know it had to have some sort of a search engine integration and that it wasn't Google, so Bing was the most likely choice. But you can do weather, you can do alarms, you can do alerts, you can do timers. Alexa, set a timer for 10 seconds.
10 seconds, starting now.
So this is not going to be a terribly useful timer, but we'll just see what happens, right? So anyway, it does show here on the app, it says timer set for 10 seconds. So that was correct. And there's my alarm. Alexa, stop. And that's, I guess, the way to get it to stop. Now, the one thing I have heard about this from other people, from their reviews, their initial impressions and everything, is that there are some issues with Alexa once there's other music sources going on. So for example, if I had it start playing music, Alexa, play music.
Here's a Prime playlist recommended for you. Panic, At the Disco and more.
It might actually be difficult to get it to stop playing. Alexa, stop. I didn't have any problem getting it to stop right then, but I'm sitting literally like 4 inches away from it. If I were across the room from it or down the hall from it, or if I had it turned up louder using the volume ring, it might be really, really difficult to get it to stop. I've heard of people having to shout at it and scream at it and finally having to come up and hit the button or use the remote. That is why you do have those other methods of interaction with it. But yeah, so I'm going to be using this over the next, from now on, I guess. I'll probably stick it in the kitchen and I'll show you a quick shot of it in the kitchen and maybe using it in the kitchen. Because my wife seemed really interested in the shopping list and the to-do list and the recipes and things like that because she is really, really big on lists. So things like, Alexa, add broccoli to my shopping list.
I've put broccoli on your shopping list.
There you go. That was pretty simple, pretty convenient. And because it does have that all-around microphone, it's supposed to work from anywhere in the room to any other room within a reasonable distance. I mean, when I first told my wife about this, I told her, you know, you can use it from within about a room's distance, and it can do all of these things. She said, we're going to have to buy several. So I can have one upstairs, and one downstairs, and one in the living room, and it's like, we'll start with one and we'll see how it works out. The device runs $99 if you're an Amazon Prime member, or at least it was when the invitation went out. It's $199 regularly, which is ridiculous as far as I'm concerned for a decent Bluetooth speaker. Has a big subwoofer built into it and a little tweeter built in. So for a middle-of-the-road Bluetooth speaker with smarts built into it, $99 I can see paying. I can see justifying that because I've already done that. Any more than that, I think would be a little bit much. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about the Amazon Echo if you had a chance to get your hands on it. I will try to keep you guys updated as to the status of it and maybe have my wife talk about it because like I said, she's probably going to be the one to use it a little bit more than I will be. Maybe our little one will use it as he gets a little older because he can use it for things like schoolwork. But yeah, I will let you guys know more as I have experimented more with it. Thank you guys so much for watching though, and I will see you again next time.